morning everybody, it's day 0 just before 5 a.m. here in Albury in New South Wales, and I am on my way this morning for a very long drive up to the Gold Coast, roughly about 1,200 kilometres. It's going to take me all day to get up there. Super excited though, because finally I'm going to start building my plane, which is awesome, and get up there and set up base. I'll keep in touch throughout the day, show you how I'm progressing, and then finally today obviously we'll get to get up there and meet Errol, which is just super exciting. It's just after 2 o'clock at Port Macquarie, so just over halfway to the Gold Coast now. One thing that I've realised pretty quickly is that I'm very glad that I'm building a plane, and effectively I would have been beer in hand 2.5, 3 hours ago if I had a flu. So the realisation at the moment that I'm doing the right thing is absolutely spot on. I'm going to stop here for a little bit of lunch and then be back on my way. So just cruised through Coffs Harbour, so I'm about 3 or so hours away from the Gold Coast, so not too far away. I just texted Errol just to let him know that I'm getting close. The accommodation is just out the back of the workshop, so just wanted to make sure that the accommodation was all good and if I needed to do anything special. And I just wanted to share this because I think this is kind of pretty cool, and it also, I think from an experience perspective, just adds to it. Errol asked whether or not I was going to have dinner at that time, and whether or not his wife Mariette could do up some dinner for me to have with them. Something that they absolutely don't need to do, but just thought it was just such an awesome thing to offer up to a complete stranger, come into the home and have dinner. I thought that was really, really nice, and it got me sort of thinking about the whole experience. I guess, look, people will look at the purchase of a plane as a real luxury sort of item, and look, it is. The reality is that, you've got to be in a fortunate position to be able to do what I'm doing, but I'm not taking it for granted either. But the one thing that I sort of always kept coming back to with the Sling was the value for money. I could definitely go and get a fully certified aircraft and have it roll out of the showroom and have it hand delivered to me and all that sort of stuff, but it really didn't interest me as much as the whole Sling experience, because I think it actually is about the experience of owning a Sling. The build assist package for me is just, fundamentally I'm getting an airplane that's got the characteristics of things that are far more expensive in a certified world, but I'm getting an aircraft that's basically half the price, but also I'm getting the experience that comes with it. So I've basically got 6 months of experience building this aircraft in a build assist, meeting great people, and also becoming part of a growing community. So, I just wanted to share that with you, because I think, the first part of these videos is about shining a light on the build assist program that's being offered by these guys. But I've obviously had a fair bit of time to reflect on the drive, and, I think that's pretty cool that somebody can send a message and say, hey, come and have a family dinner with us during the evening when they don't know me. So, and I think that sort of speaks volume of the type of people that they are. Anyway, it won't be long now. Checking in.
Lines in the sand that I can hardly say. Reading faces under the sun, in the hope I can get upon, while the demons are here behind me, and I'm putting my armor down. Have I failed you, love? I'm doing it all wrong. In the lonesome one, it's a lonesome God.
Just wanted to quickly show you the little self-contained unit at the back of Errol and Mariette's house, and this would be the unit that you'd be staying in if you're going to do a build assist, if you choose to stay. It's just really nicely appointed, self-contained. It's got all their cooking facilities, obviously sleeping and toilet and shower at the back, which is awesome. It was everything that I needed for this week and more. So just a good little insider to what you can expect.
All right, so very exciting. This is the kit. There is the fuselage. All ready to go.
Step back, I take no religion to be saved. It's just an unselfish God, the only one I made me have given my whole.
So I've got Errol. G'day, Errol. How you going?
Good, Dave. Good to have you here, mate. Beginning of a big journey for you.
Very much so.
So welcome here in our overcrowded hangar. As you can see, we've almost got no space because there's more aircraft standing here than usual. We had a bunch of Rotax service bulletins, and we've got client aircraft all over the stop. So couldn't get them out, but this is my latest I-wing. Anyway, so today we're going to concentrate on building your flap, building your aileron. We will help you to construct your wings. You'll put your own fuel tanks. We'll show you how to dimple. We'll show you how to prep all your skins. So yeah, I think it's an exciting start. Hopefully, in about 2 days, we will have your first wing done and dusted.
We'll get a little bit of progress and
yeah,
beautiful.
And we will take it step by step.
You're a great man. Thank you, Errol. All right, first crate opening. Go.
You will see that it's got an item number, and the item number is descriptive of the illustrated part, okay? Then right next to that, it's the actual part number. So if anywhere or any time in future you need to order a specific part, that's the official part number, okay? And then there's a description of it with how many of them. So they will give you an exploded view of where each and every one of these items fits into the bigger scheme of things. Okay. So start off with the aileron, then they'll give you a dimpling detail. So the dimpling detail is really literally just on the edges. You can see there. On the edges, they will tell you here. I mean, here you can see. They will tell you where to dimple.
Yep.
So you take the skin, we'll tell you exactly where you should dimple your skin. And then once that is all done, they'll also show you where to dimple on each rib. So every rib will have a dimple and every skin will have a dimple, and obviously it will be the same on the skin than what on the rib. And it's mostly just on the leading edges. The reason for it is being your aileron or your flap goes in very tight under the top skin, on the trailing edge of the top skin. And that's why we've got a dimpled rivet there, or a countersink rivet.
Yep.
So that the rivet head doesn't catch on the skin. That goes in very tight under the top skin, on the trailing edge of the top skin. And that's why we've got a dimpled rivets there, or a countersink rivet.
Yep.
So that the rivet head doesn't catch on the skin. So that's where you go. So you go through all of this, check every one. And you know what? Best is to take a marker pen. You mark them so that you don't do an extra dimple, because then you want to have a dimple where there should be just a standard round rivet.
Yep.
You will see on the aircraft. I mean, just look at this. So standard rivets, but on the front it's dimpled.
Yeah.
So on the on the leading edge it's dimpled. Same if you go to this. I mean, here's a good example. You can typically, if you're not sure, you can actually come and look here. You can see standard round edge rivet.
Yep.
But then you've got the countersink rivets.
Yeah.
And it's just literally, it's really not. If you think about it, there's enough clearance, but they do a countersink there.
Yep.
So, yes.
Just to stop the catch. Yep.
To stop it catching. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. All right.
So first job now the kit's open is to just catalogue all the parts just to make sure nothing is missing, and if it is missing that there is a back order in the system. So we'll go through and we'll rip through and have a bit of a look to see that everything's here. So first job for the morning's all done. So I've gone through and I've catalogued the wing assembly, and you'll sort of notice my ticks here as we've gone through. There are a couple of items that we're waiting on in terms of back order, so I've anointed some of those as we've gone through. Once you get your process on this, it's not too bad. And you can see I'm just missing a couple of bolts in here. And we'll just have that on a bit of paper just to make sure that that's chased up. And that's all pretty simple. So the next part of it now is we're moving across over onto the aileron ribs. I'm going to start prepping all of this. You can sort of see there's a bit of a film across it. So my job at the moment is just to peel off all of this film across all the ribs and get them prepped. So there's a little process there that we need to follow. And just making sure we're following off any of the rough edges as well. So that'll be me probably for the next hour or so. Away we go.
This would be a process that I would get very, very used to over the next couple of days. Each of the metal pieces in the kit had a thin layer of protective film. This film protected the surface from blemishes, imperfections, scratches, and any ingress. The removal of this film, particularly in the early stages of the build this week, took a little bit longer than I was expecting. I did get a little bit quicker as we progressed through the week, but it does take time, and all of that time mounts up. The other thing that I learnt fairly early in the build was to make sure that everything was labelled using a fine tip permanent marker. This made sure that everything that we were doing was organised, and I can't stress that enough. Don't get parts mixed up, particularly on the ailerons and flaps where parts look very similar.
Alrighty, so next job is dimpling. So once I've gone through, removed all the plastic. So just on the instruction details, it explodes all the different aspects of the plane and lets you know exactly where you need to dimple. So all I've done here is I've just marked exactly where I need to dimple. So I'll go through, I'll do some dimpling, and then I'm just going to check just with a little angle tool here to just make sure that's nice and flush. No areas sitting up, so the skin, it will protrude into the skin. And then I'll also use a file just to make sure that area is nice and smooth. I'm pretty certain by the end of the build, I'll be fairly sick of dimpling. Right now though, I love it. Those that are experienced builders would be looking at this and realise just how slow I am. I lack the coordination in the early stages, particularly with the flap and aileron being quite different in terms of the pieces that would go across with the dimpling. But I got a little bit faster towards the end of the week. Still a lot of improvement in terms of my dimpling technique though. I'm using the right angle tool here to check to make sure that everything's nice and flush, particularly after dimpling, but also just to check to make sure there are not any imperfections in the metal itself. This is why it's awesome to have an experienced builder by your side. Errol was able to show me how and why this was important, and then avoid any damage to the skin of the flap or aileron.
Good white, where you've sanded it, just like that, all over, and then on the back of it as well. Alright, so once you've sanded it, you just, and then you try to not touch it. And then this stuff, as I say, highly scientific name, black stuff.
The good stuff.
That's wonderful. The stuff is amazing, actually, pretty amazing. But yeah, it sort of gets on your fingers. So, now, just put it like that. And I just normally go like that. And spread like that.
Beautiful.
And again, just on the top.
Nice. Perfect.
That's it. I mean, once that is done, just leave it to dry. You can leave this thing in a little bit of water, so because it's totally water soluble, and you'll see it dries pretty quick. Oh mate, this stuff getting off your hands afterwards, hot water. But it does come off. But yeah, it's totally water soluble. But if it's dried out, that's wonderful stuff. And then obviously you're going to do that now, and on the inside of the skins, for that area, you're going to give it a light sand, a scour, clean it with acetone, paint that. Some people actually put tape, like masking tape, around it, so that it's a nice, neat line. But you can just apply it. Nobody sort of sees in there. But if you really want to do it nice, you can put it, just with masking tape, and then just paint around it. And leave some masking tape on the outside of the skin, on the holes. Because when you do this, you paint over the holes, the stuff goes and it creeps through, and then it makes big bubbles on the other side, and once it's out there, it's full of stuff to get it off, okay?
And this is obviously going to help with your corrosion.
Oh, absolutely. Yep. That's wonderful stuff. Really, really. Because that's the area where you will pick up corrosion. Okay.
The only thing in these videos that I've failed to show is the application of Scotch-Brite to those surfaces where we need to paint. So the Scotch-Brite just gives us a light sand prior to the application of the corrosion protection. Applying this paint is a really important step to aid against us from getting any corrosion in the future, particularly on the inside of the wings where you can't actually see what's going on the inside, and we've got leading edges where we have potential for water ingress. So making sure we get this step right and done appropriately is absolutely front of mind.
All right, so I've completed the aileron ribs. So now I've moved on to the flap ribs. Exactly the same sort of process that we go through. Take the plastic off and then go through dimple and then prep, ready to get the corrosion protection on. So this is where we've got to.
So day one, pretty well in the books. Been a good day. It doesn't look like I've done all that much, if I'm being honest. But feel like we've made a lot of progress. The inventory side of things takes a little while, and the preparation for the flap and aileron ribs does take a little bit longer than probably what I was expecting. But we're in a good position today to get in tomorrow and start some assembly. Just gonna go through the last little bit of the flap rib assembly. So I've got that one to do. I'll start putting some clecos in there. But good first day. Just on the corrosion protection, you can see that anywhere where metal is touching each other, we've put the corrosion protection on, the scientific black stuff. So that's been a little bit of effort in there today as well.
Day one's in the book, and everything's, from my perspective, awesome. Just everything about today was great. Honestly, in the hangar, probably for 8 to 9 hours or so, it felt like it was 3 or 4 hours. It's just because you're working on your own thing, and it just feels good, everything about it. I don't feel like I've got a whole hell of a lot to, say that I've achieved a lot today, but I know that tomorrow that'll probably start to change a little bit as we start to click things together and we start to look like the wing starts to form. But reality is I've just had an awesome day. That's it for me. It's awesome, everything about it.